Hey people, welcome back to Dear God Help Me I Need Experience, the VGC Laddering Show where I try out rental teams in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is our second episode, and excitingly I can tell you, only on the second episode, we have a rental team brought in by a commenter. You know who you are? Thank you for sending it in. We've got a Koraidon Solgaleo Team. It might be Solgaleo? I'm gonna say Solgaleo. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's just another way of saying it. I'm gonna say Solgaleo. So, my understanding of the team, by just looking at it, is obviously you've got Solgaleo and Koraidon as your restricteds. They're gonna do a lot of damage, but importantly, Solgaleo is sitting more so in the offensive support role, which is really nice because on every team there should be a restricted that can do some support, because that's the cleanest way to get it going. Like, Hatterene not always going to get the chance to get Trick Room off, but Solgaleo probably will, if that makes sense at all. So it's kind of hybrid, the team. Like, sometimes you're going to want to go fast, sometimes you're going to want to go slow. It's about picking and choosing your battles. In theory, Ursaluna, Jugulis, Bonnet, Solgaleo can all go to the tail end matchup. It's worth noting that things like Jugulis are going to struggle in the Trick Room matchup, so it'll be a matter of figuring out what's good and how to play it. Without further ado, let's just jump into the first battle. Welcome to Battle 1. So, looking at the matchup, you got Kelly Shadow, and Zacian. Those are definitely going to be frustrating. That being said, the whole team can't really go into Trick Room because they don't have any Trick Room setters, but importantly, I can outpace them with Jugulis, and I'm pretty sure I can outpace them with everything on the team, actually, so let's give that a quick check. Solgaleo is fast enough. There's no point checking Jugulis. The question is, what's Ursaluna's speed stat? Okay, if they're leading Calyrex, I'm going to want Jugulis in the front. I think that's the safe thing to do. The question really is, who do I put as number 2? I think Koraidon is the safest number 2 here. My concern is that I don't really have a clean way of stopping Fake Out on Smeargle, or Incineroar, or Rillaboom for that matter. It feels a bit weird, but I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to put Solgaleo in the front with Ursaluna, bringing Hatterene, Koraidon in the back. Since both of their restricteds, essentially all of their damage, or at least the most important parts of their damage, are going to be a lot faster than me, going into Trick Room makes enough sense. Despite my urges telling me to use the Jugulis here, I feel like this is the time where Trick Room is really important. Okay, so I can be faked out here, but the reality is Zacian can't do any damage to Solgaleo, so I don't really need to fear that at all. And of course, Incin's not really ever going to be able to pivot off what's his face called? Incineroar, that's his name. So from here, I'm just gonna Trick Room and protect Ursaluna. It's totally possible that they'll fake out Solgaleo, but I don't think I really care about that, because, like, they're not gonna put the damage down with Zacian. Yes, they could. Let me rephrase. They could do damage with Incineroar. They'll never do damage with Zacian, but realistically, the combination is not going to pick up a KO. Basically, to really simplify everything I just said, I shouldn't be getting knocked out here, so I'm going to go for Trick Room, since it should be a low-risk trade. Ursaluna gets the safe protect. If they're trying to parting shot Ursaluna, then I've trapped Ince into the field for another turn. Nope, they just knock off. That does more damage than I was expecting, that's for sure. Since they don't have a Moongus, the loss of safety goggles really isn't hurting me that bad. So, Zacian just protected. If it's gonna switch, it's gonna switch right now. What would it switch to? Since Incineroar can only pick up Solgaleo if it's going to Flare Blitz, what I'll do is I'll Sunsteel Strike to do decent damage no matter what. Earth Power into Incineroar should pick up a KO. They're terastallizing, not what I expected. What's the Terra type? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, okay, I could have seen that coming. Oopsie! Oh, what the hell? Skip this. Do I at least pick up Ince in here? If I can get Ince in, then maybe it's worth it. Okay, that's one big thing that I have to deal with. If one of my Pokemon goes down here, I can bring Hatterene in and use that for the offense that I need. Sunsteel Strike, how much damage? I only need a little bit to threaten KOs with other Pokemon. That might be enough. Sacred Sword, that's going to knock out every single time. Trading Ursaluna for Incineroar doesn't feel that bad so far. So now it's just important that oh no. I forgot that Hatterene isn't running tons of special attacks. I also kind of forgot that Hatterene actually gets a really doo-doo moveset, so, like, just in general, like, its move pool is horrible. Anyway, gripes about the fact that Hatterene doesn't get Moonblast aside, I'm going to bring Koraidon in here. I know that I'll outspeed Calyrex if they bring it in. The question is, what can I do? So, Rillaboom, that's annoying. Well, I can just protect Koraidon here and put down a little bit more chip onto Zacian. If Zacian is knocked out here, I can put up a Reflect with Hatterene and keep playing relatively safe. Psychic Fangs should be safe. Protect should be fine. On the final turn of Trick Room, I'd like to Flame Charge, just so that I can boost up, because the moment we're out of Trick Room, I'm going to need to run. Let's see it. Fake out into Koraidon, let's go. This is why you watch. You watch for this. You watch for me clutching all the way up. Psychic Fangs. Well, that's a lot of damage. Holy. Sacred Sword fails. It doubled. Wow. It's too early into Trick Room, but I'm very tempted to hit a Flame Charge right now. Not that it's a good play. So I think Zacian has to protect here. But I also know that if I'm not putting down that pressure, then they can just get away with not playing aggressively. Rillaboom's not threatening anything into either of my Pokemon right now, is it? So I can just Flare Blitz. Yep, Zacian does protect. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's protect Rillaboom. That wouldn't be terrible, actually. Woodhammer, that does solid damage. That does really solid damage. Maybe a little bit more than solid damage. Psychic Fang fails. That was a good assumption to make. But at the same time, you have to put that pressure down. If you're not threatening it, then they can always just... Ooh, my alarm went off. That's crazy. Let me get back to what I was saying. If I'm not putting that pressure down, then Zacian can just knock out Koraidon for free. Well, that's not entirely true, but you get the idea. I'm not sure if that's in range of another Psychic Fangs. It probably is. So the next question is, how many turns of... No, this is actually really bad. Trick Room, this is the last turn of Trick Room. Zacian cannot protect. Let's assume that Calyrex, that they're going to go for a double protect. Ooh, don't Flare Blitz. I feel like that might be in range of a Psychic move. I'm going to make a weird play and try to... I'll assume that Calyrex is protecting. That's my number one play. Calyrex is going to protect. That's something I'm confident in. So my thought is, if I can just do a little bit of chip with Sunsteel Strike, I can probably pick up the KO with Flame Charge. If I can't, then I'm screwed. That's that. No! They hit the double? It's still workable. They do protect. Damn, they needed that double. They really needed it. With Hatterene in the back, I have nothing I can do. Because Behemoth Blade, Astral Barrage will always pick up the Koraidon slot. Even if I Wide Guard. Yeah, that's a really good play from them. Like it's good, but it's also really lucky. Luck is good. I like luck. So I know Koraidon's going down this turn if I don't protect. So I think I'm just going to try to make a Hail Mary and see if I can survive one turn to get a Trick Room going, because that's what I need. I need Trick Room at this point. I can't win outside of it. Tell me they doubled to respect the Wide Guard. I don't think they did, but tell me they did. Come on. You live one of those. No, you don't. No, you don't. Damn! I could... No. I'm not... Let's not beat ourselves up on this one. I could have won. Obviously that's a bit reliant on them not getting the specific sleep turns that they needed. But also, I took the KO using Flare Blitz on Rillaboom. If I'd taken the risk and gone for Terrifier Flame Charge, then I definitely had a way back into the game. Because I could have just protected on my final turn of Trick Room and then tried to beat, and then I could beat Zacian out of Trick Room and ignore the Calyrex. Like, there was definitely ways to do it. It wasn't impossible, but now it is. It's a first game, I lost, but it's definitely my fault. Good plan, mad execution, and I put myself in a position where a double protector lose me the game. Get this, it lost me the game. Let that be a lesson. Think a little bit farther ahead than I am. Battle 3. I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm looking at. No, I'm not even gonna pretend like Trick Room's good here. But like, it kind of is though. I gotta double check the Terra type here. Fairy, So, this is a weird matchup. I would love to just Tailwind. You have Protect, right? No. This is probably why I'm struggling, is because I'm trying to make plans that don't line up with the team. Maybe I'm struggling because of, get this, a lack of experience that I need. That name, it comes back to me all the time. I'm gonna lead Bonnet here. At least, the majority of leads should allow me to at least play from there. I don't really want Koraidon in the front, if I'm being honest. I think Solgaleo Koraidon with Jugulus in the back. My thought being, if they lead Kyogre or Tyranitar here, I can just pivot to Koraidon, take the weather back. Like in the worst case scenario, that's gonna amount to them having to spend an extra turn setting up. Also, from this position, I can just Wide Guard and they can never put the serious output that they want to put out. In theory, I can just Spore, Wide Guard for the first turn, and that will give me pretty good insight into how they want to play this game. I think they're going to be apprehensive to use Terra Grass if they have it, mostly because Koraidon, it only takes one turn of Koraidon to get in a bad position. Like, just Koraidon as a whole. If I preserve my Terrestrialization on Koraidon to the right time, that should be enough to win. Hopefully. Oh god, are they actually just gonna take that risk up front? Maybe they're Terra Water. Maybe they're Terra Water. Okay. That's not good. But, actually no, that is good, because that means they're probably going for Water Spout. It's very unlikely that they're going for, like, chilling water or something like that. Like, it's gonna be something... Dawn. Like, squeeze me? Water Spout does nothing. Look at that! That's not bad. Look at me, making good plays every once in a while. It happens. It happens. I'm hoping that's Scarf Kyogre, if I'm being honest, because that would make my life a lot easier. Let's get... Do I want Trick Room? Well, if I'm going to swap Koraidon in, I definitely don't. Well, I don't want Trick Room. That's the long and short of it. I'm threatening a KO with Brute Bonnet, and I've shown Wide Guard. So what I'll do is I'll look at the switch-ins. If they're going to switch something in... They don't have a switch-in, actually. Their only switch-in is already on the field. I'm going to Seed Bomb and Wide Guard. I'm going to keep Bonnet safe. I do probably go down to a Bleak Wind if I'm not careful. Cool, they taunt me, that's fine. I can just pivot Bonnet to what's his face? And that's definitely Scarf. Well, probably is Scarf, but doesn't matter. I can now just pivot Bonnet to Koraidon and then double check it. Sunsteel Strike is probably safer, isn't it? If I'm going to go through all the effort, yeah, Sunsteel Strike's safer. I really want to see if I can get rid of... Can I get rid of Tornadus this turn? They've not been setting up as I expect them to. So my hope is stay asleep for a turn. They do. That's definitely Scarf. 1000% now. Bleak Wind, we did know that was a possibility. It didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Obviously, Solgaleo's never taken much damage from that. Oh! Wait, that's actually perfect. The luck does swing, I'm telling you, baby! Woo! Crunch? That is devastating. It didn't even occur to me. Do they have a second restricted? I keep looking at the team list, but I can't think of what that second restricted is. I know Landorus ain't restricted. That's why I love him. He's only good because he's not restricted. That's why he's good. Cool, they do have Landorus and Urshifu. Question is, who is faster and what are they doing? If I Rage Powder and Landorus is faster, well, no matter what they do, Sandsear Storm is a safe play. But that, I don't know if that's going to pick up Bonnet. If it doesn't pick up Bonnet, then Urshifu takes Chip, taking up Bonnet, and then I can bring Koraidon in safely. You know what? Yeah, I'll do that. This is fine. It's not so much about keeping Solgaleo safe, it's more about getting Jugulus to the field so that I can do Snarl and Tailwind, which should be enough to lock this game up. That is somewhat contingent on Bonnet living one attack when I Rage Powder. Let's see it. It is Sandsear. Got that part right. Bonnet does survive. Got that right. Woo! Nailed it! You know, when I first looked at the team sheet for this team, I got a little bit scared. Just a tiny bit. Because the lack of Protect is always a bit spooky to me. But, like, it's working! Who needs Protect when you've got a Mushroom? This is why you need Experience, because now I'm not scared of not having Protect. I like this. This is fun. What I can do here is I can just... Let's not overcook here. I can just Flare Blitz Tailwind. They're probably going to cancel the battle if I'm being real, because there's no chance they win this. They're playing it out. I can respect that. Preserving the Terror is really important just to not let them back into the game. Just like, wait, is that actually Focus Sash? Or did I just not pick up the KO? I just don't pick up the KO? Come on! I mean, this whole land... Oh. This has been a weird end game. Let's get that right. That's a weird end game. Searching Strikes, that... Is that gonna KO? Will that KO? No, it won't. Not in a million years. Actually, maybe in a million years. Maybe even in less. They're gonna forfeit. Yeah, there they go. Woo! Yeah, I won. I did it. I won a game. I probably should have won the past 2 games as well. Sorry, the past 1 game. You didn't see the other game because it didn't happen. Anyway, on to the next battle. We're doing one more. Game 3. Another Kyogre. Oh my lord. You know what? It worked last time. What's the risk of doing it again? Okay, there is actually a risk of doing it again. I'm gonna double check Terra types. I mean, Jugulus actually isn't terrible here. Like, the Terra Water should come pretty useful. It is a bit dangerous to Terrasilize too aggressively using Bonnet or Jugulus since they match up really well into the Rillaboom. But, like, who cares? Ursaluna. Terra Ghost, I don't mind that. That's not terrible. A lot of their damage is centered around special attackers. This is Plane Split Reflect. Yeah. Good to double check that. Okay, so I'm thinking the way to do this is to approach it the same way as last time. With Bonnet and Solgaleo on the field, I don't think they're going to be rushing to get into Trick Room, especially since I can always just turn Trick Room off. And alternatively, the other big threat is a big mushroom using mushrooms to Snoozeville. Like, they can't risk that. Maybe they don't want to. Given the position, it's not necessarily a high risk. Actually, let me double check before I say something. Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to double check and I'm just going to say it. In theory, a Protect Spore play here isn't actually that bad at all. So if I put Lunala to sleep and... Oh, I can't Protect Solgaleo. Poop. Oh, that sucks. At -1, I suspect... I'll have to double check the stats actually. I can probably do the math in my head. I'll make a judgment call there. At -1, attack is probably lower than defense there. So swapping in Koraidon is not actually that good for me. Either way, I definitely need the Spore onto Lunala. I think I'll just Sunsteel Strike and put more pressure down. Yeah, it doesn't really count for the Fake Out, but that was because I wanted to use Fake Out on Solgaleo to be safe. Because realistically, I'll survive one of these pretty comfortably. Yeah, Sunsteel Strike, that'll break the Shadow Shield. That's like the most important part of that turn. Cool, Brute Bonnet couldn't move, it was flinched, that's okay. Since they have a proclivity to using Ghost type moves right now, I'm going to make a simple read and just bring Jugulus in now, because they don't really want to be opening themselves up. Like, they're not going to use a Ghost type move into Bonnet. They could use the Terra Fairy Moonblast, but I just don't see that being very likely this turn. Well, actually, no, it makes sense as well, actually, because if they go Terra Fairy Moonblast, they can just wipe the field. They don't Terrasilize, but they do Fairy. Flare Blitz. Oh no. Even with all of that, I should still be able to win this. Not cleanly, but still winnable. Koraidon hits the field. I've not managed any of their threats very well. I could have protected Brute Bonnet. Ugh. I could have Terrastalized. That was the key thing that I missed. I could have Terrastalized there, and that would have saved me from both moves. That being said, I just didn't even consider the risk that would put on me. So in theory, I can feasibly knock out both Pokemon this turn. But do I want to? And can I actually do that safely? Because the reality is, the answer is actually... Well, okay, let's be honest. The answer is no. Let's assume they're not Protect Lunala. If they're... Actually, yeah. Let's work with that. They're not Protect Lunala. Knock you out. You know what? Yeah, let's be safe. Let's make the safer play. If they Terrasilize, I'm going to deeply regret not doubling the Lunala here. Oh, crap. They're Terrastalizing. They're definitely Terrastalizing, aren't they? Yep. I'm throwing, aren't I? This is not good for me. Oh, no. Do I flinch? Do I flinch the Lunala? If I flinch and burn Lunala, maybe. Come on, Lunala. You don't want to move. No! No! Well, that's game. That's game and a half. That took no time at all. We're playing one more. Come on, editor. We'll cut in right. And we're back. Game. It's one of the games. It's one of them. One of them. Yeah. Anyway, it's a Miraidon matchup. It's Miraidon Ice Rider. I think this is where we use the Nuclear Deterrent. By leading Koraidon Brute Bonnet. Oh, well, I'm not using the... Yeah, you know what? No, it still works. Yeah, no, if I lead Koraidon Brute Bonnet, I put offensive pressure down into Calyrex. I'm not sure if Intimidate goes before Protosynth. I know realistically I'm faster. Yeah, I'm a pretty high-speed Bonnet. Yeah, let's give it a run. The question is, do I want Hatterene or Ursaluna? The last time I brought Hatterene, I just didn't have the depth to do the damage. I mean, yeah. I'll bring Ursaluna. I want the damage more than the support. Maybe this is the one time where I just need to pain split a Calyrex to get it down to like 2.5 HP. But I don't have the game sense for that right now. Miraidon Grimmsnarl, that makes sense. The benefit of having Psychic Fangs is that I don't have to fear that all game. I can kind of let that accumulate and then break it when it matters most. There's no guarantee that I'll outspeed either Pokemon here. I can't Spore anymore. That's the accepted risk of putting myself in this position. What I can do is I can Rage Powder, Terrastalize, and Flare Blitz, which will always pick up solid damage into standard Miraidon, sorry. It is a little lower, but so it probably won't OHKO, but realistically, doing this should threaten them enough. Is this enough to confirm our speed orders? Maybe. Because it could be bulky, like the Miraidon that I use. So I know I run personally quite a bulky one. You know what? Let's find out. They are Terrastalizing. Who's Terrastalizing? Miraidon, probably the Fairy. Yup, Grimmsnarl cannot redirect. Of course, it could be Thunderwave, but that's actually not a risk anymore because I've used Rage Powder and that goes first. They Reflect. That might be enough. That might be enough. They're going for Dazzling Gleam. It might not matter because I move first. Let's see it. Oh, that sucks. Barely missing the KO. Dazzling Gleam, Terra Fairy, probably Specs. That's going to knock out Brute Bonnet pretty much every time. Oh, let's go. If it's a speed tie, I could be in a bit of Barney, as the kids are saying. I've shown Rage Powder, and they're probably Specs. Let's think. What's their safest play? If they send a Thunderwave and I don't Rage Powder, then I'm screwed, aren't I? I can deal with Light Screen later. What I'll do is I'll Rage Powder, Flame Charge into Miraidon. It's safer to assume that, yeah, there's just no point risking it. They do Thunderwave. It's a good play from them. The fact that they didn't do it first turn is a good way to try to trick me into letting it happen now. I take the KO, I get my speed boost, I don't need to fear not outspeeding anything for the rest of the game. And way more importantly, they've blown their Terra, meaning Calyrex is no longer safe. So long as they want to attack, yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I should be able to KO Calyrex as I want to. Given that, is the intent? Let's think this through. Nah, thinking's for nerds. I'm gonna double into Farigiraf here. That's like their only. Oh, that was not a good play. That probably isn't a good play. Oh, but they aren't going for the Thunderwave. I just straight up knock it out. Is that gonna knock me out? Probably. Am I okay with that? Also probably. I don't get knocked out. This is where the oh, they foul play me. Okay, that's fine. This is where the lack of Life Orb actually becomes really useful, because you look at that and you go, I would have gone down to the Life Orb chip there, but I didn't have the Life Orb chip, so guess who's still here? I've got to think. I'm already forgetting what their team has. No Farigiraf, no Miraidon. The final Pokemon is Calyrex. An indeterminate amount of Trick Room turns remain. An indeterminate, not Trick Room. I'm sorry, I meant to say Electric Terrain. It's not clear how many of those are remaining or how fast or slow that Calyrex is. I guess the best way to do this is to look at their team. Probably on the slower side. I don't suspect that they're going to try to get like some speed boost going and try to do something like that. It just doesn't make sense. How many turns do I have to get through Electric Terrain to Spore again? 2. That's not going to happen. Let's be real. That has no chance of happening. I am just better off putting the damage onto Calyrex and then Sunsteel striking. Yep, they do protect. That's good. I don't want to set up Trick Room for them. So if I tried to make like a middle ground sort of play where I go, hey, maybe they Trick Room, then I definitely would lose off that. Oh, foul play though. Does that KO? No, it doesn't. I went for the Calyrex, it doesn't take any damage, of course. Moving forward, I just need Brute Bonnet to survive this turn, and I should be able to win consistently. Since Calyrex just protected, I should be able to just double it relatively safely, especially since it can't Terrastalize. That being said, I do need a crit if I'm not going to use Psychic Fangs. That might be enough, actually. Cool, so they're going to take out Solgaleo for me. That's fine. In fact, that's actually good. If I KO Calyrex here, then the game is over. I mean, that's a given, but there it is. Sweet. But, oh, crit. I'm not sure if that mattered. I really don't think it did, but maybe. Who knows? It guarantees my position, that's for sure. Cool. This position is unlosable. Grimmsnarl can never knock out Brute Bonnet. Not soon enough to prevent a Spore. So I'll just Spore and Protect. That should lock the game up, no matter what. Sweet. Whew. We did it! We won a game! In fact, we won 2 of them! That's crazy. I thought, after that first game, I was like, nah, I have no chance. I can never do it. It's never gonna happen. But we've actually won a decent amount of games here. It's not bad. Technically, we went more losses than wins, but like, who's counting? The wins were actual bangers, so let's get that part right. Let's go on to reflection for a second. What did I learn from this? Number 1, I learned that Solgaleo is actually a lot better than I realized. Because in the initial video description, I made fun of Solgaleo. I was like, nah, it's mid as hell. It's bad. And then I played this team, and it actually ended up being really great. I specifically looked at that Kyogre game where they committed so hard to the water spout, and I'm thinking, having such a safe wide guard user actually worked out really well for me. I liked it. I think I'll pull up the team sheet to help better articulate my my points. Up front, Solgaleo, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But we've already talked about that. Koraidon, I thought Life Orb was definitely the best way to do it. But here I am playing a lower attack Koraidon without Life Orb, and it felt great. Honestly, it felt amazing. Like, I was still picking up the damage I needed. Maybe sometimes due in part to a crit, but I was still picking up the damage. It felt good. Unfortunately, multiple games that come down to needing the Flame Charge in Trick Room and like lining all that stuff up, it always leaves you very open to protect shenanigans. Realistically, that's not a flaw of the team. That's more a flaw of my gameplay. But it did suck that 2 games in a row, no less, came down to double protect when I needed a flame charge desperately. But that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. Not my fault. Not the team's fault. It just is. Jugulus. I imagined Jugulus was going to be more impactful than it was. Maybe I put a lot more onto Jugulus than I expected it could do, like, if that makes sense. Like, I thought it'd be coming to every game, always setting Tailwind. I thought that was kind of what every gameplay was going to look like, but in reality, I ended up leading Solgaleo Brute Bonnet a lot more than anything else, and that felt pretty good. But you know, Jugulus was good. Let's leave it there. Jugulus was good. I'm not sure how often Scareface comes up in practice. I know I never really wanted to click it myself, but surely it comes up at some point. Hatterene is probably is definitely, in my opinion, the weakest link. I mean, there's no winning with Hatterene, in my opinion. And that's not to say that Hatterene isn't good. Like, what? Actually, that's kind of what I'm saying, actually. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think Hatterene struggles to be good in this format, mostly because it just doesn't have the bulk. Like, it's good specially defensive, but, like, the physical defense it's bad. Overall, I can at least say this. I wanted to bring Hatterene. So even if it wasn't great, and even if it was one of the reasons that I lost that first battle, it definitely has a purpose on the team, and at the bare minimum, it makes sense in terms of a game plan to bring in. So at the bare minimum, you can know that you've made a smart decision if you can place the right time to bring Hatterene. Hatterene, definitely the weakest link. Definitely worth thinking about though. Like, I wouldn't say the weakest link means that it needs to be dropped or that it needs to be... I wouldn't say it needs to change. I would criticize that it's a little bit too support oriented for a Pokemon that realistically will never take those hits. But outside of that, honestly, like, it makes enough sense. Like, in theory, it's great for the Amoonguss matchup and the Brute Bonnet as well. I can go over what's great about Hatterene, but everyone knows that. It's on this team for an obvious reason, and I imagine that if I'd played games where Hatterene would have been useful, that it would have been more than just a little bit good. It probably would have been great. So let's not dog Hatterene too much. It barely came to battle. Brute Bonnet is like the MVP though. Like, that dude, he clutched up. Looking at teams like this, I'm always thinking, when's Brute Bonnet gonna come? And then I found myself bringing it even with Miraidon. Like, it was crazy. I would have assumed that it wasn't very good, especially when I saw that it was booster attack instead of booster defense, but the fact that booster attack, crunch, one-shot Lunala through Shadow Shield was absolutely amazing. Like, it seemed to me like it wasn't going to be very good, and then it completely blew my expectations out of the water. More than anything on this team. That Brute Bonnet was fabulous. And then you have Ursaluna. It's standard. You know, there's not really a lot to say about Ursaluna. When it came, it was good. It always was picking up good damage when I wanted it to pick up damage. But, you know what there is a lot to say about? Actually, there isn't a lot to say about this, but let's give a thanks to Ken. I'll pop his proper username up on the screen at some point. Thanks for sending the team in. I was scared about the lack of Protect, but today you've taught me that the lack of Protect is not a weakness if you do it properly. I think this is done properly. So congrats to you for finding a way to get me to be smart a little bit. Let's give one more thanks to Ken. Thanks for the team. Feel free to send more teams in. Like, I'm always looking for more. Every time you guys send a team in, I feel a certain level of obligation to play them. So send them in. You got a team? I want them. For the record, if you send a Pokepaste in, I'm happy to play on Showdown for an episode. Like, that's definitely something I'll do. So keep that in mind. But I think that's it for me. So let's leave it there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and I'll say the holy words. I didn't say it last time. I'll say it now. Even in defeat, I lose.